All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So I've got a little bit more information for you guys now about the fan voting at the 2018 Mr. Olympia. So a couple days ago, American Media Inc., or AMI, which is essentially the company behind the Mr. Olympia, put out an official press release regarding the fan voting. So there's a couple things I wanted to talk about in this press release that really stood out to me here. So in this press release, they talk about how the voting is going to happen. So this is something we've all been wondering about. You know, how are the people going to cast votes? Is it going to be an app they can download on their phone? Is it going to be something online? Is it going to be a physical vote? How's it going to happen? So in this article, they actually discuss how it's going to happen. So they say ticket holders for the judging round on Friday and the finals on Saturday will receive a special code with which they can evaluate each competitor and cast their votes on their phones. The fan votes will be added up and collectively counted as one vote, joining the votes of the judges on the panel. So that's kind of what we thought. The fan vote would just be an additional vote, like an additional judge at the table, collectively added up. So it appears there's not going to be any kind of special devices or anything. It's just going to be a code given out, probably an app or something you text in your vote from your seat. So to explain that a little bit more, essentially how bodybuilding judging works is that the lowest score becomes the winner of the Mr. Olympia. So the voting is based on what placing the judges think you have. So obviously, if every judge votes you in first place and you get 6 votes for 1, your score would be 6, and that would be the lowest score, so you would win because the most people voted for you in first. So if all the judges vote for you in second, your score would be 12, so 12 versus 6, 6 wins. So it looks to me the fan voting is going to be which bodybuilder gets the most votes for first place from the fan, and that vote will be added to the judging panel. So for instance, let's say Phil Heath gets all votes from the judges for first place, and let's say Big Ramy gets straight votes for second. So you're going to have a score of 6-12. Let's just use that number theoretically. And let's say all the fans vote for Big Ramy to win the show. So Big Ramy has all other votes for second, and then 1 fan vote for first place. That fan vote isn't going to help Big Ramy. It's not going to make him win the Olympia. In that scenario, then they crown Big Ramy the people's champion, and the fans' vote doesn't really change anything. However, there have been many decisions in the past in bodybuilding where it comes down to a 1-point decision. So you could say, let's say it's a tie. So let's say 3 judges have a guy in second, but 3 judges have that guy in first. Then the other guy, it's the same story. 3 votes for second, 3 votes for first. They would have the same score. Add in the fan vote in there, that 1 point could make a difference. So there is kind of a rare scenario where the fan vote could make a difference, but in the most likely case, the fans vote is going to end up being the lowest score. And since the lowest and highest scores are always thrown out to eliminate bias in bodybuilding, the fan vote is probably going to be thrown out most of the time and won't really change the result unless it's a very, very close decision, in which case it could change the result. So there is the potential that it could matter, but I would say in most cases, the fan vote isn't going to change a whole lot at the Olympia decision. But the other interesting thing that stood out to me about this press release is the way they kind of presented Phil Heath almost in a negative light in this article. So they went to go and kind of quote basically the main challengers to the Olympia title. You got a quote from William Bonac, a quote from Sean Roden, a quote from Dexter Jackson, where all these guys are saying the fan voting is a great idea. Then finally they go down to Phil Heath and they say, and I quote, "Interestingly enough, Phil Heath, the current Mr. Olympia who will be going for his record 8th Sandow trophy, had no comment on the fan voting." So it almost looks like they tried to frame this press release as it's a possibility that Phil Heath could be defeated because of this fan voting thing, which, you know, it makes sense. They want to generate hype around the fan voting, and they want to present this idea in the back of people's minds that they're going to be able to change the result. And really the reason I think this is because if Phil Heath had no comment, they could have just not included Phil Heath at all, but they wanted to make sure they pointed out that Phil Heath had no comment because they knew exactly how that would look in the press release, having all these guys saying it's great and then finally end it with Phil Heath saying no comment, or they could have just left out the Phil Heath part entirely. So I'm going to go ahead and link the full article in the description box below if you guys want to go through and read the whole thing. I think now we have a lot more clarity as to how this fan vote is going to be working, and I think we have a much better understanding now of what exactly it's going to count for and how much it's really going to matter. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, both about the fan voting system. Do you think it's good or bad? And about the way that they kind of framed Phil Heath in this article at the end, saying that he had no comment. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.